Roswell Royce Laurie, and welcome to Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. Yeah. Oh, wow. Those people, they clap so super fast. I don't even know their names, but anyway, I mean, thanks guys for clapping. I appreciate it. Oh boy. Okay. Thank you, Facebook, for allowing me to come back for a third season. Yes. Live with Roswell, and that's me, with members of Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata from all over the world. Yes. I'm going virtually with you guys from all over the world to go live with me so you guys can tell the world a little bit more about you. And thank you, Facebook, for allowing me to do this. To be truthful, social media was a little hesitant to have me do this a year ago. They said, Roswell, come on. Do you honestly think dancers are going to go with you and tell them, what they do and their personal life and all of that stuff? I said, yeah, if I asked them to in a nice way. So far, things are going good. So, season number three, and I'm blessed to be here. Guys, I am so happy tonight. This is, I just thought about something, you know. I'm in New York City for this summer, and I just realized something. The artist that's going to come with me tonight, that's going to go live, he's from New York City. I haven't, I haven't interviewed anyone from New York City. Now I'm thinking about it, it's been almost a year. So this is an honor. I'm blessed, and New York City is where I actually started to dance 9 years ago when I entered the dance world. I had my first dance lesson in New York City, and I left and I traveled the world, and I'm back, and so I'm honored. I'm honored that Enso Taves, official, is going to be here from New York City, and I'm blessed and I'm honored to have him. Okay, but before he pops on, I just want to say these interviews are getting so super gorgeous. The women of Kufo to Love the Bachata are going live with me in October, and I mean beautiful, gorgeous. We got Kimberly Daz, we got Janet, we got Fanny Salsa, we got Sarah, we got oh my God, we got the list going on and on and on. So yeah, so we're doing a good job. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your support. You know, I always say that it's one thing to look at a flyer and to actually know that person, okay? But it's a totally different ball game for them to go live with me and to talk. You know, we learn about their experience, their career journeys, their struggle. We learn what they do when they're not dancing. So, you know, these interviews are supposed to be a educational value not only to the public and social media, but to our kids. Okay, that's my dream of doing this. Not really for publicity, as everyone knows. You know, I don't really make money off of this, and I don't want to. But I'm doing this because I feel it's the right thing to do, and this is an opportunity for members of Cool Folks to better promote themselves and to shine. Okay, so those are the reasons I'm doing it. So without me chit chatting more, because Enzo is dying to talk to you guys, and I got some Roswell questions for him. Let me bring him on. Okay, let me bring him on. Okay. Enzo, hola.
Hello, Ross. How you doing?
I am good. I am good. I'm a little exhausted because, I was all over New Jersey and New York. Actually, I'm based in Wayne, New Jersey, not too far from New York. And I'm going here and there from my mom. She asked me, go to CVS, go to the uncle's house. Go. I'm like, Mom, Enzo is going to be on tonight. I don't want to be late for Enzo. It could be maybe someone else, but Enzo, especially from New York, you know those New Yorkers, Mom. You know, if you're late, that's it. So I'm like, Mom, hurry it up. Come on. I don't care if you're dying. Come on, speed it up. You know, boy. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. I'm blessed to be here. And I just want to apologize. Well, first of all, for before Enzo begins, I am bad with time management. Okay, I made an announcement weeks ago that Enzo is going to go with me live today. And what do I do this morning? I got Tuesday and Wednesday mixed up. I got Hex from Miami, texting me saying, Roswell, are you sure we're going like Wednesday? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, reread what you put. I'm like, oh God, I just sent Enzo like a super message saying, bro, tomorrow. I see you tomorrow. So a lot of confusion this morning. And I apologize. I'm just a little, like disorganized, as everyone knows. But Enzo made it, and I'm blessed to have him. And tomorrow Hex will be here, so I'm blessed to have him too. Enzo, please tell everyone a little bit about you, if you could, please. Starting with
Yes.
that. I love
Start.
that.
Start. Oh, well, okay. Well, the hat. Yeah. Well, thank you, Ross, for having me. Today. Is it okay? I call you Ross. Should I call you Roswell? What makes you feel
Um,
more comfortable? Roswell is fine.
Call me, but don't call me Enzo because I don't want to get yelled at because I know you're famous and I'm not famous. But
No,
yeah,
no, no.
Roscoe.
Okay, Roswell. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here today. Very happy to talk to you. Let me tell you about me. Okay. What do you want to know about my career? About what I'm doing now? Where should we start?
Um, how did you end up in the in the in the in the in the career that you do, man? I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much. I mean, you could have been. I don't know. You could have been like I don't know, like a banker. You could have been like a teacher. You could have been like a go-go dancer. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, how did you end up, you know,
Yeah.
doing this?
That's
Let's
a
start
great
from
good.
there.
That's a great question. It starts by being honest. It starts with being honest with oneself
Okay.
um, and admitting to what's one's life worth. Um, I decided a long time ago that I was going to do music in my life, but even that decision took a while to flourish.
Okay.
I've tried to do other things for a living. It just doesn't work, you know. As I've spent the luxury of time and effort into venturing other careers, many paths. But the only thing that makes me happy is to do music. So if I have to be honest with myself, this is what I'm going to do. Why bachata? Because I'm Dominican. You know, it's as simple as that. I can't
Okay.
deny it. So I feel like I could do many other kinds of music, but bachata is the music that has to me an attachment personally growing up in Dominican Republic. also a folklore element of my nation and the Caribbean, you know. And
Mhm.
also, finally, it does pay a service to my people from that small island, Quisqueya. It does pay a great service for us to continue to do this music rather than doing something else, you know. Because as you may know, you know, the culture exists, but if artists don't invest into it to make it flourish, you know, you're never going to have fruits. In other words, we have great works of bachata music and movements and dance and whatnot because people like yourself have decided to organize it, have decided to make choreographies, have decided to live this life, you know. So I decided to pursue this because it does has an impact in the lives of other people. And finally, why bachata and not other music? There was even today there is a lot of room for exploring, experimenting, and creating because even today is somewhat of a virgin music. It's not like a lot has been done with bachata, you know. Uh, you could say, but a lot more has been done with blues and pop and jazz that has been done with bachata. So there's plenty of space for me to experiment and explore as an artist. That's how I end up here.
Okay, okay. What about the hat, bro? Tell me about the hat again. Like, how did you end up with the hat? You know, it looks good
Well,
on you. I just want to
thank
let you know you don't have a cap
thank
or something. You have like a beautiful. I like it. It matches you. So
thank you. Appreciate it.
what is it about the hat? Share us about.
Well, you know, I think it's a lifestyle. You know, it's kind of like wearing a hat is actually somewhat of a projection of your personality. You know,
Mhm,
if you have a certain person and you wear the wrong hat for your head, you're gonna look wrong. It's like glasses. You know, when you have glasses, you need to have the right kind of frame for your face shape, and it projects the message. You know, and it could
mhm,
enhance your personality or it could actually ruin your personality how you project to other people. So
mhm,
that's one. The other thing is. I consider myself a bohemio, and a bohemio is a person that has an alternative lifestyle. You know, you
mhm,
work when people sleep. You know, you sleep
mhm,
when people work. You have a different commitment, and you do what you love despite the challenges. You know, so I
mhm,
think the hat has a lot to do with that. Has a lot to do with that lifestyle. You know, it also brings a little bit of mystery. You know, to your person. You know, like you can let people know as much as you want of your eyes. You know, you can also just
mhm,
use it as a rim. You know, it's a whole creative process as to how you want to project yourself, and it's something as simple as a hat.
mhm,
And then it's utilitarian as you know you go into the rain and it protects you. Also, it gives you a shade. It
mhm.
protects you from the wind. You know, so I think it's a very cool tool, artistically, creatively, um, and a good thing to wear.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and it just like matches with you. I mean, the reason I say that, not to sound weird, but like I used to work at Macy's, as everyone knows, like right after I got my master's, I could not get a decent job, so I ended up selling shoes,
So many
and there's nothing
people,
wrong. There's
so
nothing
many
wrong,
people.
you
This
know.
is actually the this happened to everybody in your generation. So many people in your generation, in my generation, that if
Right,
we
right,
go get degrees and there's no jobs for it, you know, that's
right,
a
right.
big problem.
Yeah. So after working in retail for like 8 years and looking at people's feet, I just automatically just look at how people dress. Like years ago, you could wear like nothing, and I would be like, I would not know. But after working in retail for after 8 years, so that's when I noticed the hat and everything just matches with you.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
you can imagine when I dance with a chick,
Mm.
the first thing I look at is not what a typical guy looks at. I look at the
Right.
feet.
Ha, that's
And
interesting.
then
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like, "You're a little weird," but continue to
yeah.
dance, and so
Yeah,
I can't help it. I'm just used to looking at people's like, the women, not guys, but like their feet, like the
yeah.
shoes that they're wearing for guys,
Mhm.
like hats and bearded. I just can't stop it.
That's
It's
fine.
just it's a bad habit.
No,
Um,
no, no. It's a whole.
okay.
There's a whole story. Feet tell you a whole story, you know. And for men also, you know, it's fine. It's a certain kind of sensibility, and I think fashion sharpens that sensitivity. You know, when you work somewhere around clothes or within fashion, it helps you. It's a very important tool to tell a story. Believe it or not, you know the way that you present yourself. As long as you don't identify with it as your person, because
Mhm.
we are not this outer shelf, but this outer shelf belongs to us. And how we
Okay.
present this outer shelf to other people, with dignity, with cleanliness, with respect, with also humility. That is this is how we communicate. It's not just what comes out of my mouth in words,
Mhm.
or how articulated, but also the context. And the context is our person, how we carry ourselves. You know, so it matters that you look at feet because you've been trained to do that. It matters that you look at how people dress because you've been trained to do that. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, that's great. That's great. You know what I'm thinking? You're in New York. You're from DR, but you lived in New York most of your life, right? What?
No, not at all. So I came to live here in 2011.
Okay.
2011. Before that, I lived in Miami.
Oh, me
I lived
too.
in Miami, Florida, yeah, for 7, 8 years.
Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't know
and
that.
before that, I lived in Dominican Republic. I grew up over there.
Okay, great. Miami. I don't know if I told you when I first met you a couple years ago, but
Hmm.
I um I just came back from Miami. I lived in Miami, and then I came back to New Jersey, and then I moved to Atlanta, and I came back. That's great, Miami. That's great. So
I
let
love
me ask you this:
Miami.
Miami, New York, DR. So you're a witness to all three locations. So it's like I'm going to ask you like a compare contrast question here. So how does I mean things have evolved 2011, am I 2023? How I mean I was just talking to Armando and Raw Chata, about like how bachata has emerged. You know what I'm saying? We're going beyond DR, right?
Hmm.
We're going
Yep.
to like China and Russia and this, bachata, back in
Yeah.
the days, people were like, what, bachata, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's
Yeah.
like, phew, you were in Miami and New York. So how do you feel like knowing that this bachata stuff it expanded, and has it expanded more from what you remember when you left DR and you went to Miami and New York? I mean,
Hmm.
what's your perspective on how the growth, has occurred, or like, or
Hmm.
I mean, how do you feel about this expansion of bachata and how it has grown tremendously? You know?
I can answer this in so many ways. The
Okay.
simple answer is I feel fantastic. I feel great. This is amazing. I love it. I love to see how people from all over the world are embracing this music, dancing it, performing it.
Mm,
I think it's part of the revival of all globalism and culture exchange. Wonderful people in Japan and Russia and everywhere in Europe, Sweden, France, Spain, dancing bachata, making bachata, adding their own cultural twist to it. You know, this is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's just gorgeous.
mm,
From the music perspective, which is the part that I work, which is the
mm,
music production and performance. It's still the dance performance. It's growing faster than the music performance because
mm,
these are two different separate businesses. And you
mm,
perhaps have noticed. I don't know. I would like to know your opinion about this. Um, the way that um, bachata congresses and bachata music groups and like the dance performance groups, they often do not have live music performance. So, in other words, the dance culture is growing separate from the music production performance culture. I don't know if
okay.
you've noticed that. Here in New York is pretty obvious, pretty relevant. You
Mhm,
have the downtown people, the people in Brooklyn, the people all over the city, doing dance groups and teams and contests. And then you have the performers, performing all across the United States, but in completely
mhm,
different settings. Um, so I'm looking forward to that marriage of the bachata sensual, bachata dance movement, and the live bachata. We've tried to do this before, at Club Cache with Alejandro and my friend Melvin Elias. We've tried to do it a few times. I know there's a few artists out there trying to do it. But there needs to be more intentionality, to bring these two things together. I think that's a fantastic opportunity for me to be part of it. The whole point is connecting, networking, connecting with people that want to marry the two.
mhm,
Um, overall, I feel great. This is a fantastic opportunity. Talking about Miami versus New York now, I think I'm coming backwards, like where you ended and I'm
That's
starting.
okay.
Um, it's definitely night and day. I did not imagine that the bachata sensual and bachata dance movement could have grown to this level when I started to make bachata. I didn't imagine this could become such a thing. I was just doing it because I love it. Um, and being in New York is what really opened my eyes, because when I see all these people from all these very different backgrounds reinterpreting what we know. You know how there are different like styles of bachata dance these days. Like
Mhm.
you have this mix with Brazilian music, and you have these mixes with salsa, and you have people having ideas with the bachata, like folklore. They call it colmado style and whatnot. And it's very, very magic to witness, and I just want to participate in it. I want to participate in it.
Okay, that's great. I like how you compared and you contrasted to like Miami and New York and what you see. New York City, as everyone knows, is like this. It's so much competition, right? Whatever you do, you could even
Eh,
sell shoes or whatever. You don't have to be
Best
seen or
people
dance.
from all over the world come here to compete. This is
Yeah,
why it's so competitive. You're
yeah.
not competing with the best of United States. You're competing with some of the best of all over the world because people come here and people come here with skills for Broadway, and they end up having success in something else. And
Mhm,
people come here with jazz skills to play at
mhm.
the Blue Note, and they end up playing bachata with me at the Upper West Side. You know,
Yeah.
and then they have success with it. And but all of those skills transfer. This is a fantastic melting pot for culture.
Mhm. Well, that's yeah. Well, you touched on a good point. Like that's what I wanted to ask about this competition stuff. It's competitive, but how do you? When I did your posting, when I did the write up, I put something like he's in New York City and he has to deal with the competition, but he still remains loyal and faithful to his friends and his family. He knows where he comes from, you know, and so how do you not? I don't know. I mean, how do you not get too caught up in that competition? Like how do you like for me, it's sometimes what I realized years ago when I used to live around the area was like I found myself going out every night dancing. I'm like, I can't stop. I got to keep going. And I said, oh God, if I don't leave, I'm just gonna end up whatever. But and people that are similar to you that are professional, artists, professional, when to stop, when to pull back, when to say no, to a good deal and be like, you know what, hey, there's 24 hours in a day and work is work, family is family, blah blah. How do you as a professional person, you know, how are you able to overcome? I don't know, man. How are you able to like be on top of the competition? Like
Mhm.
I don't know. Can I say like looking out from in or looking in from out or? But that's what I'm trying to get, And I'm asking you specifically because I never interviewed someone, from New York City who's actually here. So you're a witness to that, and you see
Mhm.
it more than I do and anyone else.
Mhm.
So how
Yeah.
do you overcome, or overcome is a strong word, but how do you manage that competition? How do you manage not to get consumed and sucked in and be like, oh God, I feel burnt out
Wow.
or whatever? How do you manage to keep it together, man? That's
You
what I
you
want to know.
you bring a pretty good point. Wow, we're going deep.
Oh
Going deep,
yeah,
because listen, you see back there, those
yeah.
are just list of things to do. Okay, this is just it's great you asked that question. These are multiple lists of things that I'm doing, working on, and that I need to keep track of.
Okay.
Um, but it's not just about self management. It's about self direction, and then the management is a tool to keep you focused. Um, competition is useful as long as it can motivate you to stay on track and excel. But the problem I think that you are implying is that competition sometimes lead you into directions that you don't want to go, right?
Mhm.
It will make you go to places that don't necessarily go in the direction of your career. That could be a good thing if you discover something new, but it could be a bad thing if you know that it's consuming yourself. If you could tell that it's draining you, it's drying you, sucking you dry. Um, so how do you overcome this? A simple answer is having a purpose. Is a very simple answer. Being as clear as you can be to your purpose and being faithful to it. Let me give you, and then using this purpose to pull yourself back out of every little thing that you go into in life, right? Let's say I was working on a project last week, for example, I had two projects, two. And those two projects really suck a little bit out of my life because they were that difficult to manage. And I've spent the better part of last week and this week literally just with a pen, so, and a paper notebook,
Mhm.
making possible solutions to this problem and testing it so that when I encounter this situation again, I am ready to nail it.
Okay.
So I guess it's working ahead, being prepared, and being committed, um, self discipline and focus with a direction.
Okay.
Um, I would also add to that you need time for self reflection daily, daily time for self reflection. Because if you don't pull yourself out of wherever you are, it's like a, what do you do today, and so what happened?
Mhm.
You know, then you could just really get lost very quickly. You can get lost, especially in a
Mhm.
place where everybody's asking for your attention and your time and asking you for things and depending on you. And it's great to be useful and needed, but yeah, you need to know what you use your time because nobody can pay you for your time. This idea that you get paid for time is yeah, I work for some time, but to be honest, you're cheating yourself. You have to work for a lot more than money. Your time is worth a lot more than money, and I'm not saying that um, don't work for money. Of course, this is how we work in the United
Mhm.
States, but you got to work for more than money. You got to put in the time and the dedication so you can go somewhere, and it's all self-directed.
Okay, okay. While you speak, I mean, I respect everything you say. I'm just thinking about last week and weekend before and the week all these places that I've been going to, and it's like it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and I'm like, I don't know, it's like a weird feeling I get, Enzo. Like I feel like not satisfied. Or I feel not fulfilled, or I have felt I haven't danced with every woman that I wanted to dance with. Um, and the more socials or congresses or weekenders that I do, it's it started out like 8 years ago, coming home like 5 a.m. and then 4 a.m., 3. Now I come home at 1 a.m. I went to, I went to a big event like a couple weekends ago, and when I mean big, it was super big. And all of a sudden, I mean, I wasn't sick, I wasn't tired. I just felt like it was time for me to go. And when I was leaving, I think it was like maybe one something, the party crowd was coming in. And one of my friends is like, Roswell, where are you going? Are you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. I just feel, I mean, there's always going to be dancing next week and whatever. I got to some stuff I want to do tomorrow. Spend time with my mom. Spend time, And a few years ago, Enzo, if you had met me, especially in New York, I was like, no, no, no. Let's just say it's a 4. Let's just say it's a 5. Let's And I'm surprised because I know we were talking about like me how me a lot of people think that the life that I live, I would have to drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes or all that stuff, which I don't, but there's nothing wrong with it. I don't judge people. You guys, people do what they want to do. But I'm still, after I'm thinking about it, what you just said, I'm surprised that I didn't, I wasn't, I didn't lead that life. I didn't lead that life, or I did not live that life. I just somehow managed. I don't know how. Maybe because I was afraid of my parents or something. A grown man like me, my mom would beat me for like coming home at 5 a.m. every. But I just said no is no, and next week is another week, and then so I guess the reason I was asking that question to you, especially in New York City, is like, how could someone actually have a little bit more control over themselves without turning into, I don't know, uh, uh, like substance or like drinks or alcohol or cigarettes or whatever, like stuff that's gonna,
Yeah.
that they think that's gonna keep them till 5 or 6
Yeah.
in the morning, then they get
Yeah.
burnt out. So
Yeah.
what you just said helped me, and it helps everyone else, especially the young ones. I'm pretty sure your
Yeah.
response, it's helping the young ones, because the younger ones, as you know, for some odd reason, they just happen to get all caught up in the nightlife and the media. It could be bachata, it could be disco, whatever, and then, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel bad, for the little ones who are not experienced like you and I, so that response, I hope the little ones, the kids and stuff, are listened, because that could maybe, help them have more control, over what they do, and if they're planning to follow in your footsteps and whatever.
Mhm.
So that was the main reason I wanted to ask you that little Roswell question, and I respect that. I
Yeah.
totally respect your,
Yeah.
what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a very open question. It can lead to many directions. If we target it more into what you're speaking about, um, I think we need to know ourselves, and we
Mhm.
need to learn to love that self that we get to know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Know yourself and love yourself genuinely, and but to know ourselves, it means that we know what we put inside our body. When people consume alcohol or any kind of drugs,
Mhm.
you know what you're doing to this body. That's the only one you have, right? And
Mhm.
then you know that you're still responsible for your acts
Yeah.
while you are intoxicated, and you know that hopefully you're going to live a life after that, but you're
Mhm.
also going to have a sequel of how you live today. um, that's why you need to know that person that you are inflicting or damaging, or whatever you think. You need to love that person, know it. Let me tell you, alcohol doesn't work the same for all people. I know I have friends, I have wonderful people, and they can consume one kind of thing and they'll be okay, and then they have another thing and they'll be out. Like
Mhm.
they're just gone. So if you know yourself, you know that you can have a beer, but you can't have whiskey.
Mhm.
For example, or you can have a different kind of thing and not have the other thing. Um, it, or if you know that's not for you and you're just not going to do it, just know yourself and love yourself. I would tell that to everybody. If you want to have fun, and also have a measure, because like you said, um, you don't have to leave when the party's over every day.
Mhm.
You can go and have fun for 2 hours and continue on and move on. um, I think learning how to have a measure, it's self-discipline. It's like, okay, well, I
Mhm.
decide to eat once a day so I
Yeah.
can have a good metabolism. I decide to fast every 24 hours. I decide to exercise and X amount of days a week. It's self-discipline. It's so healthy for oneself to hold our appetites to our will.
Mhm.
It does so much to your mental health to know that you can restrain your appetites,
Mhm.
and desires, and put them in check. I think that's part of being a healthy person mentally and being strong. Because if we were just to eat everything we can possibly swallow, or drink everything we could drink, or stay up until our bodies drop, um, that tells your mind the message, which is that you can't control yourself.
That's a good answer, bro. That's a good answer. Like, you speak like one of my professors. You're so, like, on the point.
You think
Like
so?
how you
Thank
speak.
you.
You're not. I mean, your response is very like scholastic. It's very like, yeah, when you're taking you're in class or in college or whatever, and you ask a professor like a research question, and they don't just give you
Ah,
yes or no. They give you like a, like a backbone to it, or a structure. So you just remind me of mine, like one of my sociology professors.
well, hopefully
So
that's a good thing.
that's, yeah, yeah, that's a very good thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Let me ask you this. Please, let me ask you this. And you started to touch on this at the beginning of this interview,
Mhm.
with the support stuff. You were going in that direction. So I think this is a good time to ask you. Okay, so and I ask everyone this just to get their 2 cents. Okay, so Enzo, it's a Saturday night, you know, a big city, New York, Miami, France, I don't know, somewhere that's popular. There's like five friends, and they're all big shot organizers, right? Big shot. They spend like thousands and thousands of dollars to have their events on the same night, and they all live within like 5 miles radius, right? It can be,
Wow.
you know, John is here. It can be Maria's here. It can be Rashid. It can be Edmund. It can be JJ. I don't know. I'm just making these names up, right? And and people like you and I and the rest of the world, when these people do their events, we have to decide like, should we hang out here by John like for like an hour? But then again, Maria might get mad. So maybe we should hop an Uber, go uptown, hang out at her event for 45 minutes. But then again, Eduardo might get super mad. So then again, we got to like go on our bicycle, go downtown, hang out at his event for 5 minutes. Oh, what about, Kim or whatever, and then we have to, go back this way for 5 hours, hang out at their event. We don't want to get them mad. But what about Rashid or JJ? The point is that it's 5 a.m., Enzo, and that Saturday night, and I'm running around all over the town, right? And I didn't get dance with any hot chick or any ugly chick or any chick at all. So the point is that it's not only me that's worried about this; it's other people because this has been going on for a while. But you know what makes this a real problem? It's Monday morning. The banker, the accountant, the bookkeeper, they're tallying up all the revenues, the profits that our five friends made. Check this out. This is the funny part. This guy reports that out of $10,000 he invested, for the workshop, the hotel, and whatever, he only got back like $250, right?
Hmm.
Because only a couple of people showed up. This guy says he only got like $52 when he invested like $8,000, right? Because only like 5 or 6 people showed up, they don't drink or whatever. They just like this person says, okay, out of like like $20,000 that he invested in everything, he only earned like maybe like 3,000 or whatever, and it goes on and on. My point of what I'm trying to say is that this keeps going on over and over and over, every weekend and whatever. And I personally don't get it. Number one, because number one, I'm not an organizer. I look like one, but I'm not. I can't even tie my tie straight. I'm not a dancer. I just see things and I observe and I wait until the right time to talk and ask, like I'm asking you. So I'm just curious. It's not a right or wrong answer, but I'm just saying, in a perfect dance world, how could these five friends, and they're still friends. I think they're still friends, even though they're competing. How can this better not happen? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if it was me, bro, before you answer, if it was me, and I had all that money, I would want the entire Cool Folks Love the Bachata and whatever to come to only my event because I just have so much money, and so, but I don't want to be in a situation where only one or two person shows up, and then I don't learn, and then I do it every weekend, and so I don't know if it's a thing of machoism, if it's a thing of stubborn, a language barrier, a mental disorder. I don't know, or it's just part of the game or part of I don't know, bro. So maybe from your perspective, especially New York City. I mean, why you're in there? I mean, I don't know. Like, could this be better managed or lowered? Because I see it a lot, and I don't want to mention names or places
Yeah.
because I don't want to get yelled at. But I feel bad because all of them are my friends and your friends and the world's friends, but they still do it. And I don't. It wouldn't it be better they all collaborate, make life easier? Like literally collaborate, like when you were beginning to talk about collaboration at the beginning of
Hmm.
this interview, wouldn't that make life so much easier or no?
Okay, so let me
Okay.
answer your question. There's a few ways to look at this. One is, why are these people making these parties? Okay, so if the answer is they're trying to make money, they're certainly business failures. So at that point, we can move into a whole different conversation about business management.
Okay.
Okay, does it make sense to make a party when there's four more parties in the same neighborhood and the business pool is so small because there's not enough people to go to all of them, and then throwing a big party when you can only this is bad business. Okay, you're not going to sell Cadillacs in the South Bronx, right in the middle of Hunts Point, you don't have a market for luxury vehicles there, for example. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Now, I would say that if you have a situation where there's a lot of parties, high end parties that don't produce revenue,
Mhm.
you I would have happening simultaneously in a very small area. I would assume that the motivation for this to happen is not money. Okay, this is the first thing that we need to figure out. Are these people doing this for money or not? My hypothesis is that it's nothing to do with money because nobody's that stupid. Can't be that stupid to be thinking that you're doing this for money and then spending 100, 200 times more than you could possibly earn if you capture the full market. It's ridiculous. Now, I would say that a lot of these people are doing this for personal reasons, maybe ego, maybe they love the culture and they don't have the money barrier, so they have a lot of money and it's okay for them to spend 10,000 a week, you know, um, for whatever reason. Okay, if they're doing this for their own enjoyment, I love it. Just give me my phone number so I can bring a live band there, and we're just gonna have a lot of
Mhm.
fun. Okay, if you have money to spend like this, please, by all means, call me so we can make a party with live music. If Then from there you can think, okay, do these people want to be the center of the party? Do they want to be host? Do they want to be associated with other folks that are in the culture and the bachata movement? It's very likely, so what better way? If you have lots of money, you're not a very good dancer, but you want to enter the movement, kind of like at the center, host
Mhm.
the party. So it makes sense to me. It makes sense if money is not a problem.
Mhm.
um, that being said, making the party the same weekend or the same Saturday, so many expensive parties, that doesn't make sense. I think maybe you had a similar example, but it's very doubtful that you had 5 parties on one Saturday. But if you did, that's wow.
That's some
But
party, bro.
that's some party Saturday. But um, yeah, you got to think a little bit more, even if you have that much money, because you want to be in the center of the community. You want to be engaged in the middle of it. Um, my only advice to people is that they call me when they have this much money, so I can just help them have a good party, live music. If you want to spend your money in bachata, bro, I'm all in. Now, if you're trying to do a business, okay, that's a whole different conversation. I can start an answer on that direction if you want.
Yeah, I remember someone responded. Was it who did he respond? I think one of the response that one of the guests gave was like, back in the days, like way back, they used to like communicate ahead of time. Let's say I'm planning something this Saturday. I run into you on the street like 2 days from now. I'd be like, hey, guess what? I'm planning something this Saturday. So you, in respect, you would say, okay, Roswell, since you're planning something this Saturday, how about if I plan something next Saturday so we don't call, and et cetera, et cetera. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think how that conversation developed was, you know, things are not like that, like it used to be. Like people, like dancers, organizers, like we don't. Well, I can't say we, but they don't really like do that anymore. They just say, okay, you know what? Well, I'm just gonna do it and let it be and blah blah
And to
blah.
be honest, that's
Anymore.
fine. That's fine. It means that the community is growing so much that it's
Right,
it's
right.
becoming clusters of communities. You know what I mean? As I was walking home today, I was thinking, because this word community is being used very heavily, especially in New York, and in my opinion, is being misused and abused. To me, a community is a group of people that is small enough and is located in a geographical location small enough that they can be self-organized without bureaucracy. You know,
Mhm.
without paid positions, without statutes. A community of bachata in New York City. New York City is very big, so at this point you have multiple bachata communities, and they interact like clusters. So it's very hard to try to
Mhm.
manage that, and to try to say, well, if you're doing a party, I'm not going to do a party. It's becoming like, well, we have 5 options of bachata sensual this Saturday, or 10. So
Mhm.
this is just normal. This is beautiful. This is a good thing. Just stay close to your community or whatever group, whatever clique you're in, and prioritize. You can't make everybody happy. You know. I want to add something about the business thing. I want to say something that, and I live this in the music performance aspect a lot. Okay, and this is one of those things that feels so dishonest, and you feel cheated, because as a music artist, as a performer, live music performer, your opportunities to perform depend a lot on funding. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If I'm going to play at the Barclays Center, there's going to be a whole huge production, probably hundreds of people working on that just for me to be on that stage. There's going to be marketing money invested. It's going to be very different than if I play at a restaurant like the one you went to see me. The budget that they have in that restaurant to pay for my band and for me is going to be X.
Mhm.
Somebody else is going to come and going to have funding from some other ghost source, ghost money, maybe their day job, whatever they do in their day job. I don't have a day job. I do this full time.
Okay.
I just do music full time. So I don't have the luxury to go and play someplace where there's no money, because there's a cost into just going to perform, bringing musicians, live sound, and whatnot. But some people are able to get money from some ghost source and actually make the competition, because see, my live music act is in competition with other people's live music act, right? People
Mhm.
compare. I went to see Enso, something like this. I went to see this other person. They had this other show.
Mhm.
So it matters. It matters a lot, because some people are backed up by some strange money, whereas I'm playing the game straight.
Mhm.
I bring what's in the budget for that particular venue. The same thing I'm pretty sure about the bachata socials. Some folks just have money from somewhere and they can make a fantastic production and they don't care if they're losing all of their money. Whereas other folks are literally trying to do a business, you know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Mhm.
And their party has to be real. And I have examples, but like you said, I don't want to name names,
Mhm.
but it is what it is, man. I honestly think that struggle and pain is a very fundamental part of life, and seeing yourself in a difficult situation is something that you could never buy, because you could never pay to be inflicted pain. You know what I mean? Who has that courage? Only Jesus Christ has that courage to let go of everything and live
Mhm.
among everybody while he was the king of, of,
Mhm.
of, of the world. Who
Mhm.
does that? Who does that? So if you have a lot of money, it's more likely that you're going to put a whole production and place yourself in the center of it
Mhm.
than going into business with an idea in your head and just playing the game the best you can. So I just want to tell you that, because I'm sure that there's a lot of that in the how these parties are being produced and financed and whatnot. There's a lot of beautiful women. There's a lot of cool guys. There's a lot of flashiness and dance and a lot of interesting stuff. And people are interested in the bachata movement for that reason, because it
Mhm.
requires some talent, it requires some skill, but it's also a lot of seduction and a lot of stuff. And who wouldn't want to be placed in the center of something like that as a host? I think you know um, that's not a criticism to host. I think whether you have money or you don't, that's cool with me. I love everybody that's making parties of bachata. I just want to be talking with honesty here. There's an added level of respect that I have for folks that are really doing business in this bachata movement.
Okay. I really love that answer because it's very detailed and it makes sense from both sides. And so that I just learned something because me, I just show up to these events and I don't really like go up to the organizer and say, "Hey, bro, where you getting that dope? Maybe I should. It's not a bad. Maybe I should do that." No, no, no. I'm like, you might never talk to me again. No, but seriously, I'm happy that you professionally explained that, and
Yeah, when you're in business, you have to qui bono. You got to follow the money. Who benefits? What are they getting paid? So there's no way to do this indefinitely. if there is not a flow of cash.
Amazing. Okay. Okay. Cool. Bella Estrella.
Bella Estrella.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Oh God. So
That's fine. That's fine.
I practiced myself before we went online. I'm gonna get it right, and I did not.
It's all good.
Before I play the video, can you please give everyone a little intro about it?
Well, yeah. So it's a pseudo fiction story based on a real story about finding love in an unexpected place. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. I want to show everyone the video. So bear with me for a second. I just have to pull it up because my computer screen is this small, so I gotta like so bear with me for a second.
Hmm.
I would love everyone to see this. So
Yep.
okay. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Share. Okay. Enzo, can you see this? The Enzo Taves Bella Australia
Yep.
stuff. Okay. So let's play it
Yep.
and let's see. Let's see. If I click this. All right, here we go. Wow, amazing. Oh, oh, uh, no, I'm sorry. We just sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, that That's I like that. I like that very much. I like the part where I like those shades, by the way. But let's start from there. You know, um, and I like that ring. You got that ring on your finger, and it's beautiful. It's like you said like it's so stylish. And like the hair like slicked, and here again I'm being a Macy's man. I'm like, I'm just noticing. But the girl is beautiful. Hot chick. She's gorgeous, and it's so I don't speak the Spanish or whatever, but I felt it here. I felt peace, and I needed to feel peace today because my mom was driving me up the wall. So trust me, I needed to feel some relief. So listening to that, it's like, you know, I felt it. I felt relaxed. You know, let me ask you a quick question. Uh, how far in advance does it take to actually plan this? Because like you have to like get an area of New York, a setting to do that, and then you have to make sure you get like people in the background or like or people not in the background or whatever. You have to make sure like, oh, what happened if it rains or it doesn't go according to plan? Then you have to go inside. You know what I'm saying? By chance, that was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day. It was sunny and everything. And but like, how far in advance does it take to actually plan something like that? If you don't mind me asking. Yeah. Uh-huh. I think your voice is gone. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think your voice is gone. Let me see. The You might want to. Let's see. Sorry, Enzo. Can't hear.
Do you hear me
Now I
now?
can hear you. Now I can hear you, bro. Sorry about that. I don't know what
Okay,
happened. It's
okay,
okay.
okay.
It
No, no
always
worries,
happens.
no worries. I
Well,
don't know.
not you. It always happens with these
The
virtual.
internet, you never know the computer glitches.
Yeah.
Um, so about a month is a good amount of time
Mhm.
to start planning things, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, or about a month, so you can have a little bit of time in case a day doesn't work, you have to postpone a week, A month is a
Mhm.
good amount of time. Get things going.
Okay. Great. Sorry about that. My mom
It's
was in the
okay.
background chit chat. I'm like, Mom, be quiet. Sorry. Yeah, but I'm sorry. Yeah, so it takes that in
About a
advance
month.
actually about a month. Okay, great. Now, what happens like let's say it does rain or something or the weather. How can you just move everything inside? I mean, because you have to stay
No,
according
you
to plan. You
don't.
just can't.
You don't move things inside. So what you do is you reschedule because when you
Okay.
write the storyboard and the mood board or whatever you have to do to if you need an outdoor shoot in a particular location, you already scout it for that.
Hmm.
Weeks in advance, you figure out the day, the time, you figure out the the times of the day that you have the least amount of people. You figure out where the sun starts and where the sun ends.
Hmm.
You already look the weather ahead to find out if it's going to be sunny or not.
Hmm.
Sometimes the weather changes. So if you make a plan ahead of 2 3 weeks, there is a chance that the weather might be different when you get to that point, even though it was forecast different.
Okay.
So you just move it. It's just happened last week. We had a project and that day was raining, so we had to move it. So we had to move it for one entire week.
Okay, okay. But like here again, I'm going to ask you the money question. So when something like that happens, like, is it like, I mean,
You
does it
have to
cost a
pay.
lot?
It costs more, and you have to pay. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's that simple. Yeah.
As you can tell, I never majored in finance or marketing or business. I never did. I never,
You
not even.
could You can pay for insurance if you want to. If you want, if you don't like unexpected things, you pay for insurance. But at the end of the day, you pay.
Mhm,
There are ways to minimize cost. You
mhm.
can cancel it and reschedule a few weeks after. A lot of people are flexible. You also have to figure out the contract so that you pay after, the cancellation fees X, and you pay after a certain amount of time and whatnot. Got to protect yourself, but at the same time, you got to be fair with the people that you're working with.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's complicated.
Okay, I just want to say real quickly before we move on. I like the bridge. I think that's a Brooklyn. That was a Brooklyn Bridge, right? It looks so clean. It
Yeah,
looks
it is.
like in the video, in your video, the Brooklyn Bridge looks so clean from the bottom up. But when I
It
just
is.
years ago when
Yeah,
I passed
it
it, I'm
looks
like,
good. Yeah.
oh,
No, yeah. Well, it's the magic. It's the magic. You have to show the bright side of life. You need to cleanse and whatever idea that you're trying to bring up together. There's also ways to make it look very gloomy and very dirty and very evil. But that's
yeah.
the magic of film.
And you guys did a great job. And please tell the female she did a great job, especially with the turns
Thank
and
you.
stuff. And
Thank you. Yeah,
I felt like you were pointing at me. You're like, Roswell,
yeah.
this is for you, bro. Get those glasses on. I couldn't see your pupils and you're like yeah, I'm like, oh, that song is meant is like pointing to me. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but tell me about the
Thank you.
kids. Okay, I know you have to go pretty soon and stuff, but I
Hmm.
wanted to ask you something about with regards to children and stuff. When I was
Hmm.
younger, you know, um, my parents were like, no dance, no arts, no drawing. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna go to like, business school, law school, med school, all that stuff. You can't blame them because every parent wants their child not to suffer and all of that stuff, right? But deep down in my heart, Enzo, I knew I was gonna be cool man who loved the bachata. Even if I'm old and gray and I can't walk, which I mean, well, I'm getting there. But the point is that it took a long time for me, to do what I really want to do, But children nowadays, we live in a different society. Kids have more options. They're more rebellious against their parents. We're like, I'm
Yeah.
going to leave home whether you like it, or not. So if a young one comes up to you, and
Hmm.
you should know this because you can tell you know of all people when someone is lying and someone is being honest, and that you can tell a kid is like really
Hmm.
going to be a man into this, grown into this career. So he comes up to you and he says, Enzo, sir, I want to be, the next mega dance artist and whatever, even if it means, leaving home or whatever and stuff. And you see it in his eye, he's real, and it's going to be a long road down for him, a long challenge. How would you support this young one? How would you, I mean, you don't want him to, be disrespectful to his family or leave school or leave work, but then again, you don't want him to be like 100 years old and then he comes up to you asking you to having this conversation with him. You want to guide him, but you still want to, still support his surroundings and I guess what I'm trying to say, like, what would your response be to to a young one who's like dead serious about maybe following in your footsteps?
Well, that's a very tricky question. Okay, very very tricky because first we are certain the fact that this young person um, really has this determination. Okay, so if that's a fact and we can prove that, which is impossible, only time can prove anything like that.
Hmm.
Then my advice would be that of affirmation and that of challenging.
Okay.
I would challenge this young person to prove that he or she can be what they claim that they want to be through
Okay.
discipline, dedication, and action, and a sharp focus. Sharp focus means that you are willing to not do what other people are doing so
Hmm.
you can follow your own path. You can be a disciple of yourself. This is what self discipline means,
Okay.
disciple of the self. But for that, you need to know the self, right? And to
Hmm.
know the self means that we are certain that possibility that this young person knows knows themselves so well that they know the path they want to follow. So if we assert this, okay, then there would be an affirmation. Yes, go for it. You have no time to waste. This is how I would do it if I was you today.
Okay.
Prove it to me that you can do this, or prove it to yourself. Another thing that is very good to do with young people, and it really depends on the level of development they're in, is expose people to approval. This has a fantastic power. It's the power of the stage and the claps. It's the power of being approved. This is what the artist works for. The artist works to be in the stage and be applauded. Stand up ovation. That's what the artist. This is the money currency of an artist. Okay, it's a soul, spirit. And to expose a young mind to this type of energy, it could be fatal or it could be miraculous. What do I mean? This is why I say that it depends on the individual. Now, if we're talking about technique. Now, the worst thing you want to do is tell somebody with no conditions, no self-discipline, no determination, no clarity, that's lying to him or herself. Tell him, yes, go for it, and give him a message of affirmation and hope. That's a lie. And not so much because I feel that I'm lying to that person, it's because I am not being honest.
Right.
So I'm actually damaging myself before I'm even thinking about that young person. But it's also because then I'm also damaging that person because I am telling this person go blindly into this terrible fight that is it's a life. You know, being an artist is a lifestyle. You can't be an artist during the night and during the day something else. You can't. You can't do that effectively. It will tear you apart inside if you do it long enough. So to go into that world blindly without knowing that you're going to have to prove yourself over and over again and time again, that's also dishonest. You know, you're not serving that young person. So depending on the age of the young person, the first thing I would suggest is mentoring. Find somebody that does what you want to do or is close to that and shadow that person. Work with that person. This is the most important thing in life is to learn directly from somebody that does this with honesty. If you want to learn how to do steel, you work at a steel factory. If you want to learn how to raise crops and how to cultivate the land, you go to where that's done. You know, to a farm someplace. You know, they have a technique. Um, Textbooks and information is available everywhere on the internet. You can spend hours. You can hear hundreds of people, hours, people talking about things. This is free today. You have infinite amount of information. The hard thing is to decide where to put your time because our time is finite. And there's only 24 hours a day, out of which you have only 16 because you sleep 8. And then out of those 16, you can only work focus for X amount of time at a time before you need to take a break. So you can add it up to like 8 hours of like focus work. If you are an intense beast, who has that determination, that courage, that stamina, and that hunger to work with that intensity, you know? So how do you learn this? You go and you work with somebody that has um, this type of habits. So mentoring and I think that solves everything, you know, to be honest, because you're going to learn so many lessons by working with the right person long enough directly. Oh, and I would add to that, do, do, do. Whatever it is that your path is, you're a dancer, dance, you know. Have a YouTube channel where you dance. Create a Facebook group where you dance and connect with other dancers. Find dance partners that you can create new things, create choreos, you know, do things that establish you as what it is that you do. If you're a singer, sing, perform, record music, do what you do. Just do it. You know, whatever it costs, do it and get mentoring. Those are my two suggestions to anybody. Through that process, you will know as a young person, and very soon, in a year or two, is this for you? Or whether you find out if it's for you or you have proven that it's for you and you already have a career. That's how quickly it works. If you really go, don't go to school. Sorry, don't go to school. I don't recommend school to anybody in arts. I went to school. I loved school. I went to school because I wanted to learn. But my diploma is somewhere. I don't care. I don't need my diploma for nothing. I don't need any institution to certify what I know. When I jump on that stage, what I can do, you can witness. When you listen to my record, Bella Estrella, that's what I do. I don't need the university to certify if that's good or bad or whatnot. Nobody cares what the university says. Your opinion is what matters to me. So if you're a dancer, choreograph, dance, participate, create styles, mentorship, and figure out how to make money out of what you do because that's what's going to allow you to live.
Hmm. Let me ask you something that you just touched on real quickly. The stage. When you're on stage and you're performing, you're about to perform. Like how I know everyone gets like anxiety, panic attacks. Like I know when I'm on stage, no matter how much I practice or even with interview stuff, even so I say I'm not gonna ask you any on on questions on unannounced questions. I end up asking you stuff that I don't plan to. Sometimes things are not planned, but you're on stage, you're about to perform, and like what goes on like recently, what like how do you manage to keep it calm, keep it together. Like, let's say you're having a bad, like me, as everyone knows, my mom, drives me crazy and I can't focus. Imagine me going on stage, you're giving me the mic, you're like, Roswell, go ahead, sing a bachata. And I'm thinking, oh, my mom's, and I'm like, I can't do this. We both know I can't do that in the real world, and you can. So how do you manage, like, in a situation like that? You keep it together, you keep focused, no matter what somebody passed away or whatever, but you just know you still got to get through that stage or that night or whatever, and keep a beautiful smile on your face and keep like how do you?
That's it.
That's what makes you guys so special and cool, because you
Mm,
guys can do that. Not everyone can do that. I
yeah, yeah,
So in a
yeah.
situation like that, how to just like how do you manage to keep it together on stage no matter what's around you,
Wow.
what's
So let
going
me. I have a long answer, but I want to give you a very short and concise one.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay, go ahead.
So I'm trying to think of this the short one real quick, but if not, I'll just start with the long one. So the question is, how do you manage stage fright and the pressure of regular normal life when you're on stage and you have to bring joy and happiness to people?
Yes. How do
Correct?
you?
Well, the long answer is that we live to do this. If
Okay.
you play guitar and you're a jazz guitar player or whatever, you practice every day, at all hours. So when you jump on stage, you are literally in automatic mode. You don't go on stage to figure something out.
Hmm.
Your fingers are just streaming your consciousness, yourself through that guitar, and people are hearing that. So you
Hmm.
are not there to figure that out. Also, what do you do when you get scared? What most likely you do when you are frightened or when you are on the spot? You are most likely to be spontaneous, scream, cry, to make a face,
Yep.
to make a face that will show exactly what you feel: ashamed, scared. If what you do as a musician is practice and practice and practice, when you are on the spot and feel pressure, you don't have time to make a face. Your fingers will do the work. You know what I mean? So, in other words, it's practice. It's just a type of discipline that is very strict. It's very hard. And when you go to work, you do the work. That's one. Two, as a singer and performer, is a whole next level ball game because you are not just performing with your voice, but the voice has all these nuances. You could tell how somebody feels just the way they speak. And when you sing, that is magnified to the thousand%. You can feel in the same note. You can feel sorrow, or you can feel joy, or you can feel homesickness, feel blue. You can feel anything. The same note that I'm singing, the same words. It's called interpretation. And how do you stay true to your job of a performer to interpret a song when you feel opposite than what you're supposed to sing? right? Is that your question?
Yeah, yeah. I have a tendency to have like five questions in one, but yeah.
Is commitment. It's being a professional and being committed. When you feel a great sorrow, or you feel very disturbed, or you feel very um, indisposed to calm and bring joy and happiness to people, but you still have to do it. You know, somebody died, somebody left you, somebody disappointed you, you disappointed yourself. You know, but you are there in front of people, and they are open to hear what you have to say. There is a big trick, which is to let your sorrow speak through the music, and you will discover something new. What you cannot do is fake it. You have to be honest. And if you feel like shit today, sing that song like you feel like shit today. But still sing it with the discipline of the musician that is practicing every day. So your technical performance is flawless, but your interpretation today is a little bit more moody, or a little bit more sad, or a little bit happier, or a little bit more different, but it's still honest. This is what people come to see on stages, an honest performance of a committed artist. That's what it's all about. And you will never gonna feel blocked, because what you really got is a blessing. You got a blessing of people that are here to hear you. I have issues. Yeah, they're not here to hear your story. They might hear it if you know you make a joke in between songs. And what you know, you sing your first song, you put it out, you feel terrible, you let it out. After three songs, you say, "Yeah, guys, my father died. I'm very sad. I'm gonna sing this song that he used to like." And you're gonna sing it with a tear in your eyes. And after that song, there's gonna be a stand-up ovation. You know what I mean? Because you're being honest. Now, if you try to suck it up and you drop the microphone and you leave, nobody knows what's happening to you. Um, you're not doing a good job. Just be self-disciplined and be honest.
Yeah, that's why you're on stage and I'm not. That's the reason why I'm doing these. The reason why I'm not singing tonight.
It is a very complex thing. It's very complex. It's very simple. It's very simple because it's just you just have to let it out. You just need to work at it. So when you have to be in the spotlight, it just comes out. And you can trust yourself that it's going to come out with honesty. So it's as simple as that. There's nothing to say. You just feel it and you do it. Or it's as complicated as what I went on after, you know. And I was summarizing into those two words: self-discipline and honesty. Actually, I would add commitment, you know, because you have a show and you don't go sing it because you don't feel like it. No, you are committed to your career. So you have to go and give them what you got. Even if you think that what you got sucks, they're here for it.
Okay,
That's my take on it.
that's a good take, man. But I'm still not doing what you're doing. Okay, I'm saying I'm still doing cool for a little different shots of live at Russell. I have
No,
to hear
because the
mine on
stage
street
the
stuff.
stage is for whoever wants it. It's a beast. It's a beast. You know, you go into today and people will stand up, and another day you're gonna get rotten tomatoes. You never know.
May 23rd, the Latin Award NYC. I know we were running out of time, but the Latin Award, or did I get that right? The
Latinos are working in Huese, yeah.
okay, Latino Awards NYC, and okay, May 23rd. Okay, so you were there, right? You
Yes.
were there, and tell us about the what were you nominated for? Tell me
Hmm.
about that, because I didn't
It
follow
was
up.
a very good award. Yeah, it was Artist of the Year,
Okay, okay, good.
nominated with that song.
Okay,
Um,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was a wonderful night. You know, a lot of good people. It's great. You know, we meeting the people that are making music in New York today. A lot of them were my friends. So some became new friends, new peers. Um, it's just a wonderful opportunity to network, to meet other people that are into this business of entertainment, business, performance, arts. It was wonderful.
Okay, that's great. Congratulations to you. I mean, that's a big accomplishment.
Thank you.
Um, that's great. I always like to hear. I'm just not saying that because I have nothing else to say. But whenever I hear you guys talk like that, you guys been nominated and not only nominated but actually triumphed and got something. And you guys are definitely a role model to the young ones, and not only to the young ones, to people who really need to be inspired and be more
Mhm.
directed and be more positive and feel like they have something to live for. You know,
Yeah,
like
it's
I
very
said,
important in life. Yeah.
in my these. It's only been 2 weeks now since I started to do these fall interviews, and you know what I try to tell everyone that goes live with me is that not only are we trying to like promote events or tell people about your journeys, but we can maybe save a life. Like I do human services. I imagine it's like my history. Real quick, I did psychology in college, sociology. I'm doing my PhD human services. I may never get a job in human services, but I like to help people. And one of the reasons I'm doing Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata is because of that. I'm doing it because I believe it can save a life. Maybe
Hmm.
someone is thinking about Enzo. Maybe someone is thinking about killing
Hmm.
themselves or beating up their woman or jumping off a
Yep.
bridge. You don't know. You don't know
Yep.
what's going on in the world.
Yep.
But by you and I talking here, you know, maybe we're helping someone. You know,
Absolutely, and it's a very
I know.
good motto.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. I keep pointing to the young ones, but maybe we're helping someone. That's that's sometimes how I feel. Maybe I'm not. Maybe we're not. Maybe they're just no one's looking. But maybe someone is, and we are actually saving someone. Maybe what you just said is going to make someone a success tomorrow. Maybe they're going to wake up tomorrow and they're going to say,
Hmm.
if Enzo can do this, then I will do it. You never
Hmm.
know. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
one of the main reasons I do this. Okay.
Absolutely.
Um, so we're out of time. So let me ask you about the events
Hmm.
because I would like you to actually tell people about your upcoming events and maybe
Hmm.
the year is coming to an end. So please take it away. What events would you like people to be aware of?
Well, I have an event tomorrow. It's if you want to attend, it's going to be at the Alianza Dominicana in Washington Heights. It is by invitation event. It's going to be pretty cool. But if you want, you can email me and I can just try to arrange an invitation for you. It's going to be from, I believe, 7 to 9 p.m. And yeah, Alianza Dominicana. So we're going to be playing with the Jazz Power Initiative. We're going to be playing some bachata, jazz, fusion, and other things con servidor Enso Taves. Y I'll be there tomorrow. I'm going to be playing at Iris Cafe this Saturday. It's a very nice brunch, wonderful place, the best view of Manhattan from Pier 10 in Brooklyn Bridge Park. It's kind of my hood now. Love that neighborhood. And what else? I'd have to look at my calendar, but I think I have a few more things coming up. Um, they just pop in here and there. I had an event recently at the Hudson.
Mhm.
That was another event, Jazz Bachata with Jazz Power Initiative. Uh, they just come on and on, you know. You never know where I'm going to be next.
Please, please, please share that. When you get a moment on our Cool Folks page, and I can reshare it.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Where did we? When I first met you, like a couple years ago, where was that place that I was that Washington Heights? Remember when you first saw me for the first time? I just sat there looking at
Ting
you, and
Marin, Ting Marin.
that's a nice place. I like
I
that
love
place.
Ting Marin. Yeah. Oh, wonderful vibes. You know, very community center. You know,
Mm.
good vibes, good music, cool people.
Yeah,
We can have some cool folks that like bachata too.
I like that. But I like small. I mean, I like maybe because I'm not in a city that much. Like I like those smaller places. I don't feel
Me
like
too. Me
congested.
too.
I like.
Me too. That's what I like as well. You know, that's what bohemia is about. That's what I mix bachata and bohemia. You know, just like bachata in this cool, um, um, very intimate setting. You know, I love to bring that to a place with like some nice dancing to it. You know, that'd be fantastic. You know. Can we make a party like that, Roswell? You know, like a nice intimate bachata. You know, with Enso Taves and some dancers, and we can just make it very organic, very nice. Nice dim lights, and like the little patio decorations, and the cool hats and the cool folks that love bachata and some acoustic stuff. I love to do that.
Bro, we were just talking about this like before we went live. Maybe I should do my next live stuff like at one of the event, like your event or whatever. I could be broadcasting live,
Yeah,
be like,
that'd be great.
like cool, like this would be cool. I never really done that yet. I've done like, like bits and bits, when I'm dancing or whatever. I put the camera in front, but I never really done like a real. So you gave me a good idea. So maybe I should, before I go to Atlanta, maybe I should. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Come and be like, hey, we're going live like right now, like right now. But
Why not?
not a,
That'd be great. Yeah, please.
bad idea.
That's,
Okay,
that's how it goes.
you've been talking with me for a while now, and I know you gotta go, and I know we're super over time. You see, that's what I was telling you, bro. You said you text me and be like, Roswell, cut it, stop talking. You're such a nice guy. I went over by like 45 minutes or what. This gotta stop. I mean, but anyway, everyone loves everyone loves me. They know how retarded I am by now. So, but anyway, um, how would you like to leave this? You got the last say in this. What is a takeaway here that you want everyone, and I mean everyone, to know as we sign off?
I would say, I could say so many things. You want me to say something about the group? Do you want me to say something about bachata culture? Do you want me to say something about being an artist or a dancer or performer? What do you like me to talk about?
I want you to say something from the heart.
Mhm. I would say keep dancing, keep bachateando, go out, meet people, be nice, um, just just live your life, without hurting anybody, and just do good everywhere you can.
Okay, okay. That says everything. I mean, it can't get any better than that. Um, you're a good man, and you're very educational, and I mean educational in the sense that you talk from experience, but you see both sides. You know what I'm saying? And so, like there are some people that they just see one thing and they keep on going that path, but you presented both sides. Both roads.
I try. There's probably 200 roads. I just do two, so to play devil's advocate, but yeah, there's many perspectives always on every subject.
Yeah. But thank you so much. I mean that. I appreciate everything you've said. I appreciate everything you've done. Um, if you, as everyone knows, I'm planning to go back down south this winter. If you're ever, we were just talking about that. If not too long ago, if you're ever down south or whatever, please come visit. I can introduce
Absolutely,
you
I'd
to
love
some
to.
people
Yeah,
there
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. And
I will.
and yeah, and thank you so much for everything. I mean that because I know it was like so much confusion this morning. I confirmed with you and Hex, and I told you guys, hey, we blah blah blah. So I'm sorry about that. And
That's
you still,
fine.
you're a man of your word. You still showed up and whatever. So that tells me a lot about you.
Hmm.
That tells a lot of people about you. You're more than
Yeah.
a dancer. You're more than a singer. You're more than you're a good man. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you
Russell.
so much. And it was good talking to you. And hopefully, maybe you could come back next year or whatever when I do this
Yeah.
after Christmas, because I'm going to take a break off in November and December, but you could come back, okay? And bring the hat. I love the hat.
I'll have a different color.
Okay, okay, and please share your postings. Feel free to share your postings, and so everyone can come and support you. I would like that.
Thank you,
Everyone to
Russell.
support you. Have a good
Definitely.
night, okay? Okay. Peace.
Peace.